Hello everyone, I am coming to you from my backyard today. I had something that I wanted to share with you. If you'll give me a minute to turn the camera around. I wanted to share with you, first of all, here's one of my bird feeders. And when you walk this way, you will see another one of my bird feeders here and another one of my bird feeders there. When I walk to the north end of the yard, you can see Trig over here. You may hear a bark or two. He's currently having a fit over a cat in one of the fields. Here is my bird bath, and there is a ceramic birdhouse that I have hanging. As you look around and see the trees, I don't have the widest variety of birds in this yard, but I do have quite a few. I'm going to take the camera now over to my swing, where I am going to share a few thoughts with you today. Some of the birds that I do have in my backyard are house sparrows. I've got quite a few cardinals. I have quite a few black-capped chickadees. Robins are typically in the front yard. I don't know why they're not in the backyard. I've got mourning doves. Every now and then I see a blue jay. And while I wouldn't say that I'm a bird watcher, I do oftentimes look out the window and see the mourning doves eating off of the ground. I see my cardinals eating out of the bird feeders. And it's really just a relaxing thing to enjoy for a few minutes every day. Probably doesn't take a lot of effort to think about where I'm going with this. Anxiety is defining our world right now. It has been for quite some time, but it has gotten worse and worse. Nerves are frayed because of the changes in our lives regarding COVID. Depending on your political persuasion, you are either excited or very uneasy about the most recent presidential election. Regardless of your political views, the unrest that we see in the streets has got to be troublesome to us. Unemployment rates, a skyrocketing deficit, businesses closing because of a lack of business, concern about our own personal health, in terms of many things perhaps, but certainly the virus. I sit in my swing, I listen to the rustling of the trees, I see the birds that are eating, oftentimes the seed that I provide, but that's not always the case. And I am reminded of the words of Jesus about how our Lord cares for the sparrows, the least of all the birds, the most insignificant, and yet one does not fall from the sky without our Lord's notice. I'm also reminded how the very hairs of our head are numbered. And if the Lord takes care of the birds of the air, how much more will He take care of you? Jesus would go on to say, "O ye of little faith." I won't say that, but I will ask, do we have that faith? Do we have that confidence? The confidence that Paul spoke about in Romans 8:28. all things work together for good for they who love the Lord, who are called according to his purposes. Do we believe the words of the prophet Jeremiah, who says that the Lord has plans for our welfare, not our calamity, to give us a future and a hope? We have a future, we have a hope. I believe that that promise not only refers to this life, for our Lord has come that we might have an abundant life, but it also speaks to all of eternity. Let us sit down and rest easy in the promises of God. And it may be even helpful for you to sit down outside, see the birds of the air, and remember that not only does he care for them, but how much more does he care for you? Because he sent his only begotten Son, not for the birds of the air, but for you and for me. Have a great day.